can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up?
Good morning! Snowman here to all you Brock Purdy and San Francisco 49er haters. Shut up! I gotta thank you, Shane.
I mean, whatever happened to the games where breaking 100 points was, I don't know, unusual?
There was one word to sum up the All-Star weekend.
Trays. Cause we take this job so serious.
Splash Brothers, yes. Ray Allen, replace him with Steve Kerr. Reggie Miller, yeah.
What in the all types of blue hell?
Good Lord, that freaking seal.
Oh yeah!
Let's go, baby!
Woo! Grinding towards season 12. Gotta love it. Good morning. Welcome to the penultimate twisted tripped out backwards Thursday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Glad to have y'all with us. Man, I'm so excited. I'll explain why in a minute. First hour presented in part by Invader Coffee. Fuel for the fearless, which is what we are. Fearless. All right. We made some notes in our pre-show meeting, and we're going to let them out here for everyone that has tuned in over the course of the past 11 years. We thank you and we love you. To all the fans that we have gained, lost, and regained because of all the stops and starts and firsts and lasts and all that kind of stuff, thank you. Thank you for sticking with us. We appreciate it. To my crew, the big dog, Shane Lake, Victor Locke, Cole Johnson, everybody that has been a part of this show, thank you all. To my beautiful Dr. K, who looked me in the eye and said, quit talking about your dreams and go get that shit. Thank you, my love. To Shane's Queen Pin, who has been down since day one when Shane and I met officially, and has been one of the craziest asses on the show when she's appeared, just like my beautiful wife. Darling, thank you. To the folks back home in Chicago, where this show started, in my old bedroom at my mother's house, with a mixer, a microphone, a headset, and an idea. And folks tuned in audio and then later video. Thank you for that. There's an old Subway's on Adams, on State and Adams, where I used to do the show some mornings, and there's a Starbucks on the corner of State and Adams, where I basically lived for 2 years, getting this off the ground. Thank you for that. To Allison Moran, who unfortunately cannot be here today. She had something come up, but she will be with us on our holiday version of the show tomorrow. Man, Allie, when I met Allie, I was in Starbucks. We were in a Starbucks, getting ready to put her on the air on my old afternoon show. Yeah, guess what happened? Technical difficulties. Been laughing about that for 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think thank you would be good enough words for her, just like with Jody. You know, just, I'm going to cry. Just saying thank you to all the people that have been here over the past 11 years. I don't think that's enough. And to Droid, who has been on my ass about being consistent, just like everybody else, who has been begging me for play-by-play chances, who will now get them. Who will now get them. Droid brother, wherever you are, I think you're working today. I assume you're working today,
Yeah, I
man.
think it's a Culver's.
Thank you for showing up into my life like one of my kids and saying, look, you're either going to deal with me or you're going to get rid of me. How did he say that? By making me laugh my head off, by throwing zingers at me. And Shane, I got to thank you for that connection, because there are some days that Droid steps in and doesn't even ask, and I later wind up thanking him for that. On days where I have been like totally under the weather, and I try to get out of bed to do a game, and my wife holds me down and says, you're not feeling good. And that's when Droid steps in. That's when Victor steps in. I thank you guys for that. To the fellow who brought Shane and I together 11 years ago, the Dark Knight himself, LaShawn Encarnacion. Brother, we miss you. We love you. LaShawn was a part of my show for a year until we unfortunately lost him. He had an idea about a racing connection, which brought us Shane Lake. After I had Shane on the show, I began to ask him, would you like to be a permanent part of the show? And before I can complete my question, Shane said, I'm all for it. I informed the Dark Knight about it, and he just had a quiet smile and said, told you. LaShawn, you're one of the biggest reasons we are here, getting ready to celebrate season 12 on Monday. To say that you are a big part of the show would be a horrible understatement. And thank you for that. To the folks who stuck with me when I lived in LaPorte, Indiana, who kept backing me up, pushing me forward. The folks in Chicago, in Michigan City, in Dayton, Ohio, where I lived for a time, up in all the way up in Minnesota, where I lived for a time. Some of which I still keep in contact with. To the folks at Chicago State who allowed me this crazy chance to get started, who allowed me the opportunity in 1995 to call my first game. Thank you all. To Craig Hodges, former Bulls sharpshooter, who we were close with before they let him go for 2 years, who basically told us to go for it. Thank you, Mr. Hodges. Thank you for all of that. To Cole Johnson, who served and still serves as the main executive producer of the show. The man, no myth, all legend. Not just because of his comedic timing, but because of his knowledge, because of his friendship. He was the first person I called when I had doubts, when people started talking about my marriage to Jody, my pending marriage to Jody at the time. I will never forget this call. He asked me 3 questions. Does she make you laugh? Does she make you happy? And is she there for you? And I said yes to all 3. And basically he said, then fuck everybody else. I can't tell you how emboldened that made me. And how proud I am of you, Cole Johnson. To our buddy Wise El Jefe, who said stop the cap and made us crack up for 10 minutes. Wise El Jefe, who I met during the COVID year. Been like this ever since. Who's building an empire of his own. Proud of you, brother. Very, very proud of you. And don't you stop kicking ass either. To Chris Bass, my homie from Chicago since 2006. No myth, the man, no myth, all legend there also. Who said one of the most infamous lines ever.
What in the all types of blue hell?
That spread like wildfire to a whole lot of places.
AB Media now uses it. I use it on my other show. Man, Bass, I'll tell you what, even though we couldn't finish your segment here, and even though you taught me about being responsible, I still feel connected to you, and so does the rest of this crew. I blame myself for losing that connection and losing your segment. But at the same time, you reined in a lot for me. Hell, he gave me the nickname Rain Man because of my sports knowledge, a lot of which I still have to reacquire after surgery. You pushed me, Bass. You pushed me to do better and be better. Everybody I named pushed me to do better and to be better. Thank you for that. There's a fellow named Michael Lyle who is now in Denver, Colorado. At the time I met him, he was in Connecticut. The Jersey-born man has been one of the best for me. And he's saying the same thing everybody else said to me. Don't you quit. Don't you ever quit. No, I'm not going to. Damn it, I promise all of y'all. I'm not going to quit. They will have to kill me to beat me. I'll borrow from former Northwestern head coach Randy Walker. And I speak this for my entire crew. You will have to kill us to beat us. All right? I've said it before and I'll say it again. You will have to kill us to beat us, because there will be so much more there is so much more that we're going to do in season 12 and beyond. I can't thank everybody enough for everything that they did. Every time they provided inspiration, every time they provided a chance to show off. And there's one fellow I need to mention by the name of Joshua Jackson, who is now at Savannah State University. JJ and I had a lot of late night calls where both he wanted to quit and so did I. But we both made it up in our minds. Can't do that, won't do that. Can't ever do that. So Joshua, the man who told me about Ted Wright Stadium and he affectionately named Dead Wrong Stadium, the man who has been my right hand for most of my crazy ass road trips when I covered Trinity International. My brother, I love you. I love your successes. And we are always here for you. Period. There's a fellow that's going to join us in hour 2 in place of Allie by the name of Chris Dietz. When I was living in Dayton, Ohio, Dietz showed up out of nowhere and basically said, I'm going to be a part of your show and you're never going to forget me. I brushed him off for all of 30 seconds. Then I decided to take the chance one afternoon when I woke up from a nap. I recorded an interview with him and he's going to be celebrating his 9th year with us. I mean, some of these people that we've had on the show have been, the regular ones have been legendary.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hell, it's hard to believe that I've had an 11-year friendship with legendary announcer Bill Schoenig, who just recently retired as the voice of the Spurs. I can't believe that I've had former Super Bowl champion Lee Woodall on here, two-time Super Bowl champion Gary Reasons. And do I plan to have them back? You better fucking believe it. All the networks that have picked us up, put us down, picked us back up again, and the ones who stayed. Thank you all. To our brother Sick Diggy from Norway, who comes up with the craziest ads we will ever read on the air. And when I say crazy, I mean just that. But you know something? It adds a lot to the show. It gets the wheels a turning. And Sick Diggy's always been one of the ones where we have a slow show. He'll throw something out of nowhere. It sticks, and we're back at 100 miles an hour. While I'm throwing flowers, how about a couple of flowers to the one and only Rising Rhino, one of the football authoritarians that I watch on YouTube very faithfully. No matter if it's the CFL, the NFL, United Football League, Arena Football, no matter what it is.
Mm-hmm.
NHL hockey with this Colorado Avalanche. He's one of the ones where I can affectionately say he doesn't care about what happens. He knows what he wants to do, and he's going after it. Rhino, thank you for giving me that attitude back. I cannot thank you enough. And it's seeped into my coverage of the Indiana Fever. I was talking with the boys during pre-show, and I can honestly say that I ran out of fucks to give about 2.5 years ago. And finally diving in head first, feet first, whatever the hell you want to call it, to getting all this together. Man, there's so many other people I can thank, but we do have a time limit here.
Yeah, screw it.
Yeah, you're right. Screw it. The next 5 people I'm going to name are very, very dear to me and very important to me. Jody, Sonia, Dakota, Carmen, and Cheyenne. My wife and my children. When Jody popped into my life, I had all but given up on life. I was at the end. I was at the edge of that mountain. I was at the edge of that cliff, ready to step off and never come back. Jody raced the clock and saved my life because I was going to end it. July 18th, 2018. I was sicker than a dog. It was raining. And I decided at that time, and I know I'm getting very personal, but fuck it at this point. If y'all don't know the story, here it is. July 18th, 2018. I hadn't talked to Victor. I hadn't talked to Cole. I hadn't even talked to the dog. I haven't talked to anybody. That was my final fuck it point. I was done. I was going to step off that cliff, eliminate myself from the world, and not come back. And then, thanks to a message I got from a very pretty lady, she pulled me back from that cliff. Just in the nick of time. And then slowly I started meeting the folks who were important to her, who became my children. Getting to know them has been a process. I can tell you that. Because my kids have been through so much before I showed up. Why does this make me cry a lot? Because they mean so much to me. I mean, hell, I was in the hospital just after cancer surgery. I talked to Cheyenne via FaceTime and cried. Cheyenne's next question to me was, do you need me to come up there? I didn't hesitate. I said yes. She was out in Los Angeles. She was in Indianapolis the next morning. She caught a red eye from Los Angeles up to Indianapolis and spent the week with me while I was in ICU and later in my own room. Jody came by after work every day. Jody is the one who got this started. My Dr. K got this whole thing started. When we were told at Duke University Hospital to just pack it in, Jody's spirit said, She got the whole process started, man. That's how I met my oncologist, and then that's how I met the surgeon who saved my life, Dr. Attila Nakib. I'll never forget him. I looked him in the eye and I said, can you get this motherfucker or not? And he looked me back in the eye with wife in tow and said, we'll get this sumbitch. And he did. I don't have cancer anymore. I may have lost a few other things in the process, but the one thing I will never lose is my nerve. Even on days when I don't think I have it, I got people in my life, including on this crew, that will give it back to me.
All good, boss. All
To
good.
say thank you would be a horrible understatement. To my buddies, AB Media 83 out in Indianapolis, the master teacher himself, BGS Edmore, y'all have seen him here throwing questions and throwing his shit out there that has us cracking up laughing. BGS is the man, there's no myth to this. All right? I got to throw him some flowers because there will be some days that I want to go out and get lunch for Jody and I can't. I shoot him a text, and the next thing I know, there's a Cash App waiting for me. The same with Victor. These are guys that I trust with my life. And of course, y'all don't know the funniest sound ever. BGS is the one who gave us this.
Now that's some bullshit.
He's the one that gave us that. And he gave me some sound advice on what to cover, how to make my standalone videos, which I'm going to start today. As soon as this pool full of tears dries up and I get some more tea in me. But they all have said the same thing. In the immortal words of Jim Valvano, don't give up. Don't ever give up. Giving up is not an option. And Eminem said it best as I couple it with him. Success is my only option. Failure is not. And I apply that to the whole team. The whole team that has stuck with me and this crazy ass idea for 11 years. We are going into season 12 on Monday. Why did I change it to Monday instead of the original air date October 1st? Because Monday comes right after the holiday. We can expand and go right into football. All the preparation we're going to do for football this year, college and pro. We can get dates involved in this. Got WNBA on the docket. It's a perfect reset button. That's why the first Monday in July every year will start a new season. Not just of Snowman in the Morning, but of Snowman Multimedia, which is celebrating season 30. 30 years. Man. There's a couple more people since I got permission from the guys. Let me thank somebody else again here. All right. Let me once again thank the master teacher who I only met a short time ago, but has become so important in my life, become such a good brother and a good friend, who threw us the line of, now that's some bullshit, and the explanation with it. He has popped on our show. He has popped on my play-by-plays. He has given me such direction on which way to go. And BGS, brother, we love you. From Indiana to California. I can't tell you enough how much you mean to me and my crew going forward. We love you, brother. I can't say enough how much everybody means to me. I thank my family. I thank most of my friends. But there is one friend that I must thank before we go to break. And his name is James McCallum. When I met Mr. McCallum, I was a young buck. We were both at St. Margaret of Scotland School. Oh boy, the memories we can share from that. But as much as James and I picked on each other, James was one of the originals that told me not to give a shit about what other people think when it comes to me being a play-by-play announcer. It happened when the Bears were playing the Lions. I had a black and white TV set. All the other guys that came over to my parents' house were in a corner. And I was glued to the television calling the game. And then James spoke up and said, we have two options. Listen to the idiots on the television or listen to our own in-house announcer. And since then, James has been so encouraging to me. Every time he talked to me, how's it going? How's the business going? Are you still chasing your dreams? You better chase your dreams. James, 4.5 decades later, here we are. I cannot tell you how much your brotherhood, fuck a friendship, I cannot tell you how much your brotherhood means to me. And here's to another 5 or 6 decades after that, my friend. So with all that being said, this may not be a glass, but I raise this to everyone that has been faithful to me, the show, and the company, that has been to it and through it with me and with us, especially when going through cancer, when going through my toe amputations and everything. And everybody just encouraged me. I would not be here without you guys. And that's the God's honest truth.